What's going on, Fedor? Hey, look at that. Beautiful. Yes, sir.
All right, we'll open up to questions for Kevin.
Marla Ridenauer, Akron Beacon Journal. It's been kind of a whirlwind here the last couple of weeks with you, today's show and all that. What is it like? And is this even more, I guess, public than you maybe thought you would be at this point?
I think in terms of mental health, yeah, I think, just in seeing the reaction after I wrote the Players Tribune article that everybody's going through something, it was pretty apparent that there was a community in all this, and that has continued to grow more than any time in my career or in my life. I've had people come and share their stories and come up to me and just be really transparent about what they're going through. So, for me, I felt it was very fast, but it was time to make an impact from and for that community. So, here we are today. That's going to continue to grow and continue to evolve. But from that aspect and that side of things, I'm very excited.
Chris Fedor, Cleveland.com. Kevin, where did the idea of the Kevin Love Fund start, and how proud are you of that?
The idea started organically. Just knowing, seeing what at least my father's side of the family, including him, what they had gone through, and just knowing what I have dealt with for many years on the anxiety and depression side of things, to now facing all this stuff head on, writing the article, being very vulnerable, being able to help all demographics, and knowing that this thing doesn't discriminate. I think that's and to see where we are now, that's probably what I'm most proud of. And knowing that this thing has legs, we're going to be able to help so many people with this. And it's this thing is universal. This is worldwide. So just being able to help that next man and to pay it forward, it's going to be special.
Hey, Kevin. Greg Swartz, Bleacher Report. Did you train or prepare any differently coming into the season, knowing that your usage, your touches, your shot, your role, everything was going to increase? Did you prepare any differently this summer than years past?
Tristan. Wave at Tristan, everybody. Hey. I think, speaking of the mental side of things, I think just preparing my mind for getting a lot more touches, whether it be for post-ups, for pinch post touches, and a lot of pick and rolls. I know that we're going to have a ton of movement. We're really going to have to be in shape, but I think a lot of guys are excited for how our offense is going to flow, and then just being able to be really gritty on the defensive end. I mean, everybody always talks about, we need to play harder. We need to get to 50-50 balls. We need to play physical, but this team, I believe, really has the cloth, for lack of a better term, to be able to do that. So it's going to be really fun to see where this team heads and be able to build something.
Lauren Burrell, Channel 5. Has helping other people empowered and helped you?
Absolutely. I think it's also made me in a lot of ways more empathetic. Just seeing from so many different walks of life, and so many different people from where I've traveled to, and on different corners of the earth, back to my hometown in Portland, Oregon, to LA, to New York, and anywhere. It just has empowered me not only to help people, but as I mentioned earlier, to pay it forward to the next person. Because it's gonna with mental health and that side of things, more than anything, I feel like it's universal, and in our social climate, not only here in America but everywhere, it can really make a huge impact.
Emmett Golden, ESPN Cleveland. Kevin, what advice would you give to the family members and friends of those that are dealing with a mental health issue?
I would say it's tough to have the presence of mind when you're young to even understand what you're going through. I know for a fact that I didn't. I always ask myself, why am I feeling this way? But as a parent, that's something that I'm going to have to learn when that time comes. And then also, I would just tell the kid, don't be afraid to speak. It might not be us. It might not be a family member. It might not be a parent. It could be a cousin, uncle, brother, friend, counselor, teacher, anybody that you look up to that that you can bounce ideas off of and bounce how you're feeling off of. So I think for most people, it's right at an arm's reach. And thankfully, even with communication now, you can FaceTime with somebody, you can text, you can call. No matter what it is, I feel like we have this community, and no one now, especially with beating down that stigma, a lot more people are going to come forward, and knowing that somebody else is dealing with something, that communication is going to be key, and that transparency is going to be key.
Kevin, Joe Varden, The Athletic. What do you think success looks like for the Cavs this year?
Success, I would say I keep talking about building something. I don't know what overachieving would be for us, but we're going to be a team I feel like that are going to surprise a lot of people. We know what we want from, or Ty Lue knows what he wants from us, and vice versa. And we have guys that have been here, have guys that know how to win, have guys that no one losing the best player in the world. We're going to have a fresh start. So I think that, coupled with having a bunch of young players that are going to be ready to go and learn on the fly, as well as you have Colin, who's going to come in and make a huge impact right away and have to learn and make some mistakes and learn from those. But also Jetty is going to get a lot more time, and so on and so forth. So we have first and second year guys got to make a huge impact, and solid veterans that have one more year under the belt with playoff experience as well.
And then you hosted some or most of the guys in Miami
Yep.
a couple weeks ago. What was the vibe like?
Vibe was great. We were just getting into our new sets, really trying to have time off on the court, but off the court as well. Just anytime you can I talked about communication earlier. Anytime you can get that going, have the camaraderie aspect going as well, and just having time spent, because we haven't spent that much time together, is very key for us.
Spencer Davies, Basketball Insiders. It's one thing to lead 15 people on a basketball court, but for the whole leadership thing on the mental health awareness and with the Kevin Love Fund, did your basketball experience as a leader help at all in you championing this thing going forward in mental health and spreading that awareness? And can it kind of help vice versa as a leader on the court as well?
Yeah, I think in some ways, but more than anything, it's I feel like on the mental health aspect of things, it's just bigger than basketball. I've said many times that success is not immune to depression, and that's what I mean. Any walk of life, no matter how much money you have, where you come from, who your parents are, no matter what, it doesn't discriminate. But I think in a lot of ways, at least from a leadership standpoint, my first 6 years, having played on a very young team, having not made the playoffs, went through a number of different situations on and off the floor, to being traded to a team where we were expected to compete for or win a championship every single year. And I had to learn how to follow, and now have to keep taking the steps in order to lead this team. So I think all of that has prepared me for kind of where I am today.
Kevin, did you ever doubt that the organization was going to go in the direction that they chose to this offseason, giving you the extension for 4 years and trying to compete for a playoff spot still, even after LeBron left?
Sure. I mean, anytime you have the possibility or you lose the best player in the world, anything can happen. I mean, I wasn't sure. Wasn't 100% sure, and I told Kobe this, even after talking with him face-to-face, knowing that we wanted to very likely get something set in stone. I told him this is where I wanted to be, but you just never know. Nothing is outside of the realm of possibilities. As we've seen a million times in this league, this is a business, but this is where I wanted to be. I won a championship here. We had won a championship here in 2016, had a lot of really special memories, and I wanted to keep that going.
LeBron was such a big presence for you guys behind the scenes. He was such a strong voice. Obviously, they're going to be looking at you as one of the guys to step into that particular role. Do you have to change anything from that approach from a leadership standpoint with this group of guys compared to the past?
Yes, just be more vocal. And there was a lot to be learned from LeBron. There was a number of things. I mean, I think Richard Jefferson or maybe Channing said it in the offseason. He's a huge camaraderie guy. I mean, every city we go to, there's always some group of guys going to dinner, some guys, going to watch games, drink some wine. That whole aspect that helps develop a family type atmosphere, and there's continuity out there on the floor with that. But I think between the lines, being more vocal, leading by example, and just trying to be an extension of the coaching staff. So I think in a lot of ways, not saying that I'm gonna have to grow up, but I'm gonna have to take the next step in my evolution as far as leadership goes.
Ty just said a little bit ago that he's going to have to teach every day. Do you think, what kind of teacher have you seen that he's been so far, and you're curious to see sort of a different side of him?
Yeah, he's a player's coach. I think between him and when you saw Ty go out with health issues last year, LD stepped up, Larry Drew stepped up and was great for us. But both those guys, unbelievable X and O guys, can adjust on the fly. And their teaching points are very sound. We've seen it day in and day out, and I think totally agree with Ty. Probably very likely with a younger team and adding some veterans, there's going to have to be a lot more teaching points, and there's going to have to be a lot more moments where we're going to have to stop practice and say, no, this is exactly what we want. Use a ton of examples and just pay a lot of attention to detail. We're going to need that with this team, but. At the same time, there's going to be a lot of free-flowing type of offense, and then on the defensive end, we're going to have to really have our schemes down and play together. That's the only way it's going to work.
David Glazier from the News Herald and Morning Journal. Ty, when he was out before you, was asked, what do you need from Kevin? And he said to get back to being the player he was when he was the number one option with the Wolves. Is that Kevin Love still there? Or has, you mentioned the evolution of your game. Has the game changed
I'm
since
30
5 years
now,
ago?
so I don't know if he's still there. No.
I know.
No, I'm kidding.
I know
No,
you're still young. But
absolutely.
I
think it's.
Is that Kevin Love still there, or has his game changed?
My game has definitely changed. Will there be nights where my statistics are gaudy? It's very, very likely. But, as far as, I don't think in some cases I'll be asked to do that, but in a lot of cases I'm going to be looking to set up teammates. I'm going to be looking to help other guys grow in their game, and I think that's part of the leadership aspect as well. I know what I'm capable of. I was the second option last year, likely the third option the couple years prior, and I had to learn how to sacrifice. I knew I had to learn what it took to having such a high usage rate and having the ball in my hands every single possession and getting post-ups and getting shots and always being in a rhythm and playing from the inside out and not the other way around to being here today where I'm considered the first option. But I think it's a constant evolution. I'm heading into my 11th year, so I have to figure out with this team how it's going to affect us in the best way possible in order for us to win.
Kevin, PJ Ziegler, Fox 8. With LeBron leaving, you went from the fit in, fit out tweet a while back to being the role player to now being the leader of this team. What did you learn from LeBron in those years that he was here that you feel you can take now to this team and help them get back to where you guys want to go?
I think just how to win. I think how to win was a very big key. What it means to how hard it is to win basketball games in this league, taking everybody's best shot. I know that just practicing what we're preaching up here is we're gonna have to give we're gonna have to go after those top teams. We're gonna have to win some games that we're not expected to win. And then just I think from a leadership aspect, LeBron was so great at getting our attention and leading by example and being vocal. There's just so many things to be learned from the best player in the world, and a lot of the times it's not, just what you see from a strictly, playing aspect. So he meant a lot to this team and a lot to this franchise. But this will be a new chapter for all of us, and I think we're all excited.
Thanks, Kevin. Thanks, everybody.